Hi, my name's Rob Scott from UC Today, bringing you the latest news and conversation from the unified communications and collaboration space. So today, I'm joined by Judith Hogan, who's the director of EMEA Headset Sales at Poly, and we're going to be discussing why one headset doesn't necessarily fit all. Welcome, Judith.
Hi, Rob. Thank you. Great to be here. Good to see you. I'm really interested to talk about Poly and, of course, our headsets. I mean, famed for collaboration. We're a market leader in this industry, so lots to talk about.
Good stuff. Well, just before we delve into the conversation, how about just give us a little bit more on Poly and what you do over in this region.
So I head up sales acceleration, which is sort of go-to-market in the category. So very focused on our headset range, but obviously our full portfolio is the real story. So we're all about collaboration. We came together with Polycom about 3 years ago now, and that really just enhanced our range. So we've got headsets, video, speakerphones, and phones too. So everything to do with collaboration, all the key tools that you would need to do that is really what Poly is all about. And I think the sweet spot is that we're just one vendor for the whole thing.
Fantastic. Thank you very much and a very warm welcome. Now, one headset doesn't necessarily fit all. And we said, we'd talk about the kind of workplace and work styles to start with today. I mean, because everything's changed, hasn't it, in the last 12 months? It seems, we're all now talking very much about not just remote work, but hybrid work, work from home, all sorts happening out there. So how important are headsets in this kind of new hybrid workplace?
So I would say mission critical, a bit like we used to say about Poly headsets with NASA. Having gone through this global flexible working proof of concept brought on by COVID, I think the headset profile's absolutely been raised to be an essential tool with for knowledge workers. Working from home and remotely without a headset is tough. Is really tough. Trying to use a soft phone on your laptop or even a mobile phone is a real challenge. I mean, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine locally is a finance manager for a prestige car company. When COVID hit, he got sent home to do customer care calls via Teams on his PC. He had no headset. So this guy's somebody who's never used a headset before, was completely stressed out, happened to mention it over the weekend. I had a spare headset, which I gave him, a pro grade Poly headset. On Monday morning, by about 11 a.m., he'd text me saying, my life's changed. It's completely transformed. Now, this is somebody who would never have even been interested in something like that previously. But just, he said, people can hear me, I can hear them, I feel relaxed, it's comfortable, life's come back to normal again. And I think so many people now are starting to realize what an essential tool it is, and also to have a preference. As people would say, do you want a headset? No, I don't want a headset, thanks, I'm fine. Now people have a preference. And I think even using a mobile, when you're actually trying to take notes, do a job, not just have a quick chatty call, you're not hands-free. You can hear all kinds of different noises. If you put it on speakerphone, then you can hear all sort of rustling on the desk of making notes. It just isn't professional. It's just really difficult. So I think a headset is a key enabler for comfort, freedom, flexibility, just so you can work anywhere.
Yeah,
I think companies have started to learn this.
yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, work from anywhere just brings so many challenges for users. But you're absolutely right in terms of what I'm picking up recently. Certainly, that every user has their own personal requirements now. It's not just one standard kind of this model fits everyone in the business. If you're really going to accommodate your users, then you've got to address their personal needs. So that's really interesting. And in terms of features, I mean, headsets have come on a long way in recent years. What kinds of features are users looking for right now?
Well, as I said, once people have started to use the technology, even if it's been enforced on them, they start to have a preference. Certainly, basic requirements: comfort, easy to use, plug and play, great quality audio, pro grade audio, both transmit and receive, and something that's suitable for the working environment. So where are you? Is there background noise? Do you want to move around? Do you need to take sort of screen breaks? Clearly need to be hands-free. So those are the fairly simple things. But what we started to do, I mean, Polly's been really interested in this for a number of years, almost a decade, in fact. And we did some work style research where we defined these personas, which were the sort of most common work styles used in the enterprise, and what the sort of split, what people's requirements were around that. And what we've actually done is aligned our headsets to that, so that they're beautifully designed with these sort of profiles and the way people want to work in mind. So to give you an example, and we've sort of, to make it really easy, I think we've kind of named our ranges that sort of suggest that. So we have the Voyager range. Here's me wearing a Voyager 5200, which is my all-time favourite. Nice and discreet, brilliant noise cancelling. I can travel around with it. Fits in a travel case. Fits perfectly for people who are moving around, want something that's discreet, maybe doing lots of video. Absolutely perfect for that. But the Voyager range is Bluetooth. It will multi-pair, so it will pair with a mobile phone and a PC. It has good charging capabilities, easy to transport. So I think Voyager suggests that. Then we have the Savvy range. These are decked wireless products. So you've got encrypted wireless. They're very secure. They're for those very discreet, personal conversations that you need to have, particularly popular with the financial and the legal sectors. Have very long battery life, freedom to move around, but still have that secure and important conversation.
You get a lot more range with the decked models as well, don't you?
Yeah, you get a much broader range. Yeah. So you can, certainly at the moment, if you were at home, you could move away if, the family, I know people have been driven crazy by homeschooling. If the children suddenly came around, you could go off to a room and have a more discreet conversation. So nobody needs to know actually where you are. I'm often
seen running around the house with a laptop in my hand, trying to move away from the noise. But maybe that.
Yeah, no, I think it's been a big stress, and even the neighbours deciding to cut their grass, or the builders have started to come in next door. All of these things, but all of our products do have superb noise cancelling. Some slightly different, tailored to sort of different locations, and then we have the Blackwire range, which is what it suggests. These products are corded, again, pro-grade audio quality. USB connect, just plug and play into the PC, nice and easy to use and very portable. And again, with that great noise cancelling.
When do you decide on a wired solution nowadays versus a wireless solution?
Well, I suppose you don't have any challenges of charging that. It's something that's very, very portable. I tend to have it as a sort of a spare. I would say people who probably aren't going to be on calls for long parts of the day, so perhaps don't need to move around, but just want to very simply plug and play. Just the easiest thing to do. And, as I say, absolutely get that audio quality. And we've recently brought out a new range of speakerphones, the Sync speakerphones. So I've got to say, I still love headsets. I think the freedom that they give you, but when it has come in handy, and I know lots of people, sort of crossing the boundaries of work and play. So loads of families doing Zoom calls at the weekend. So I certainly use the Sync speakerphone for the family Zoom calls, but also as backup, because when we're on long calls all day, sometimes just moving from speakerphone to headset is just quite nice. It just gives you a little bit of variation.
Yeah, I must admit, I love my personal speakerphone. I take it everywhere with me, and the headset, unless it goes around the ear, over the head and things, it kind of, I suppose, it's just a personal thing, isn't it? A headset, and you've got all different types to suit all different needs, which is great.
Well, you've possibly heard about the Poly wall of ears. So in Santa Cruz in our HQ, we have a wall of ears, and as we have various visitors, we've taken a mold of their ear, which sounds a bit silly, a bit glib, but actually we do test. Our headsets are designed to fit most ears, but some you will find more comfortable than others. So I say this one particularly, I find that incredibly comfortable. I prefer that to things over the ear. Some people prefer to, when they're concentrating, have that active noise cancelling so they can completely zone into the work that they're doing, and listen to music too. So we can cross the boundaries of work and play.
Absolutely, and it is work and play nowadays, isn't it? We do want to chop and change. We're not all tied to the 9 to 5, especially in this kind of new world of hybrid work. We can afford to kind of take the dog for a walk, or go for a run, and having those devices that kind of, I suppose, almost flex between those different environments and recreations.
And that's where multi-pairing comes in handy, because you can have something that pairs with a laptop or with your mobile phone. So if you want to join a conference call as you're walking the dog, as you say, and quite a lot of people do, because we just need to get some time out. We need to get some fresh air and see the sunlight. It has become very difficult. People say, they go from call to call. Suddenly, you don't have that journey to your next meeting. Or even a walk down the office corridor to the water cooler or the coffee machine. You're just at your desk, and because of that, people are booking meetings back to back, so it becomes quite difficult. So the fact that you can have that freedom to move around, and for it not to be noticeable, for it to be just as seamless in terms of the calls that you're on, is fantastic.
Indeed. So let's talk about the importance of quality for a moment, because we're all hearing a lot about fatigue right now, with too much screen time, too much video calling or conferencing and that kind of thing. And so I was interested to hear, is this just marketing from headset companies, or is there some truth in the quality of the audio experience really helping the overall kind of communication, collaboration experience?
I think it's incredibly important, and I don't think, I said before, people now have a preference. I think people have suddenly started to realize how important it is. And I noticed on one of our posts on LinkedIn recently, some guy had commented underneath. And I just thought it was really interesting, because I've seen this happen a lot. And he said, "Oh, yeah, I used to go to the office and people would offer me a headset, and I say, no, I'm fine. I'm fine with my phone. I'm just use my phone earbuds and things like that." And then he said, when we got sent home to work from home, and I had to use a headset, I got a Poly Pro Grade headset. And the difference is night and day. He said, "I cannot believe that I rejected this before. I cannot believe the difference." And I sort of take those things for granted now, but I think lots of people that have been forced to work from home and had all kinds of challenges suddenly realize the absolute power of quality pro grade audio. And I would say now, for companies, it's going to become absolutely, they need to focus on the quality that depicts their brand. So lots of these large organizations, people have survived. And I know I've had conversations, with various companies you work with, utilities and things like that. And somebody saying, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I'm working from home. Oh, that's my baby crying," and various things like that happening. That doesn't need to be the case. We've all said, "Oh, no, that's fine. Don't worry about it." But I think for some of these big corporates, if they're going to now move to more hybrid working and flexible working, they need to take that seriously and make sure that people have the right tools to do the job. And I think this is becoming very interesting as well from recruiting people too, because now we've proved that people don't have to be in a specific location to do a job. They can work from home, but they will need to work from home with a very sort of professional toolkit, and with something, so people don't really know they're working from home. It doesn't matter then. Suddenly they've got that big corporate brand, whether that's a backdrop too, whether that is, things like acoustic fence, noise blocking, various sort of tools that will cancel out the background noise, so people can't hear anything, they don't know where they are, or equally so they can hear better. Because I think having to repeat things just adds to that stress. Not feeling that you're communicating effectively sort of prolongs the conversation, prolongs the the meeting, having difficulty sort of joining, not being able to come on and off mute, all of those kinds of things. Suddenly people realize they're in need. They probably didn't even, it didn't occur to them before, but now they're sort of experiencing these frustrations on a daily basis. And I think, for companies absolutely to promote their brand, this is something they will need to get right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And there's nothing worse than speaking to a customer, I imagine, with poor audio quality. We've all been there. We've called into contact centers and, had those conversations and they've been terrible. You can't hear the person, or, back in the day.
Can you just repeat that? Can you spell that out? What name was it? Or somebody gets your name wrong again. And you're already angry because you're calling in because you've got a problem. It becomes very, very frustrating.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. It's all about the end-to-end experience. So my last question for you today, Judith, is more around kind of the platforms that are out there now, because we've seen a huge rise in video conferencing, platforms like Zoom and Microsoft Teams and all the others that are out there, plethora of kind of options. But how do headsets work with all these platforms? Are they all kind of the same? Do they all work? What do people need to consider when selecting headsets for their chosen platforms?
So again, mission critical to get a professional grade headset, and the whole reason that you do that is we invest time working with these alliances. Some require certification, so we have for example a Microsoft Teams range. We have one of the broadest Microsoft Teams range of certification, so again back to those profiles, you can have something, there's something for everybody to use with Teams. We work with Zoom, we work with Blue Jeans, all these great platforms now, and one of the key things about having a pro grade headset is they've worked with our APIs, we've worked closely with them, so we've got all sorts of operability and functionality. You'll get the best possible performance, whereas much cheaper consumer headsets don't have any of that. It's very much luck. One day it could be okay, the next day it couldn't. We also have a software management platform called Lens, which helps with remote management. We also work on sort of software upgrades as well. So as these platforms change and develop, we will have software revisions too. And using our Lens platform, it makes it just very simple and seamless to do that. So again, that the users don't need to know that. It can just all happen for them, and they can just seamlessly work across these different platforms. And most companies now, let's face it, use more than one. So, and people aren't necessarily used to, not everybody's in technology, but they just need to know, how do I join this meeting? What do I need to do? It just needs to be seamless, and it needs to be sort of, work from anywhere, wherever you are, whether you're in the office or at home, that you can just easily work with these key platforms and alliances.
Yeah, and you're right. And hopping between those platforms, I can imagine there's more and more, conflicts with drivers and codecs and things like that. There's a lot more to go wrong nowadays because everyone's doing it a lot more. So having a good quality certified headset, I can imagine
it just works. It just works, and it's easy to say that, but that's a very powerful thing. I say we work in the tech industry. Lots of people are using these products that don't, and haven't previously used these kind of technologies before. So it just needs to be, I just plug this in, I click on this link, it happens. I don't need to do anything else, because then it becomes a sort of IT call. But that's where our software platform comes in, because that, they can actually set the products up for the individual users and just make it work in the background. So it all becomes just very easy to manage.
Great. And for anyone looking at headsets right now, what's the best way to find out more?
Well, I would head straight to poly.com. Most of the ones I've talked about today, you will see on our website. You'll also see some information around the personas, so you can align to whichever one you are, and that will help you guide you to the best products. And then, or if you're already working with a key IT reseller, they will have all of this information for you too.
Hey Judith, it's been super speaking to you today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Rob. It's been great to see you too.
And that's it from us. If you've enjoyed today's session, please subscribe to UC Today News and give this video a quick share on social, as it's always appreciated. And if you're a UC fan and want to be part of the conversation, you can join us using the UC News hashtag on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. And our social links are in the description. So I'm Rob Scott from UC Today. Thanks for watching.